How's it going, everybody? This is Brian, aka Dusk, coming at you again with some Pocket Isekai. Today's video is kind of a spur of the moment. Real Time Arena has arrived for my server, and for many others, it has just arrived as well. For some players who have started basically when the game first released, have probably already had a Real Time Arena, so this may be your second time seeing it. But for those who are new to the game and new to Real Time Arena, I wanted to do a quick, well, we'll see about quick video on Real Time Arena. The first thing I want to mention is that, as the name suggests, it is a real time arena. So you will only be fighting people who are actively participating in the event, with the exception of there are some bots floating around where, like, if you first start battling or after you lose, you'll fight those bots and they kind of help pad your score. And we'll get into why that is later in the video. Another very important aspect of Real Time Arena is that they have balanced it. So like I said, it is the entire game playing this event at once, not just your server, not just your server group. Every single player in the game, other than maybe those in their first week. So the very first week of a new server, probably, actually I know they're not in it. You might be in it if you're in week 2. But because of that, there is a chance you're going to be playing against players who have spent a lot of money into the game, maybe played 2 weeks to a month to 2 months longer than you. And one of the areas that they try to balance it is through stat adjustment. So no matter what stage of the game you are in, your Pokemon are going to follow these rules. All Pokemon are set to level 80, and their skills are set to level 80. Their training level is maxed at Attach +6. Their IV is set to 120, and their stars are set to max. Now, the rest of this is coming from... we'll also go to main characters with set for 15. The rest of this is kind of more along the lines of, depending on what you're doing... talents. Sorry, talents are another thing. Talents are no inheritance. No matter what you selected for your talents, they are not active in this. So there's no extra energy from your talent. There's no increased chances of stuns or control abilities or lifesteal stuff. None of that stuff exists in here. This event is very much supposed to be relying on the key features of your Pokemon, of your team, which is just their base stats at max level, as well as their natures, your TMs and held items, your crystals, and your incubation if you have it, Dynamax if you have it, and also the avatar frame, which is your main character's frame. Which that is not as important. It doesn't come up very much. But you'll see some of these say full inheritance, no inheritance, partial, full level, etc. Extreme special, this is your extreme training. This is not unlocked until season 3, so I don't think anybody is here yet. But if that was active, it would take... it would just max everything out, full level. For your natures, it's going to inherit everything your Pokemon has. So if your Pokemon are only level 3 natures, they're going to be level 3. If they're level 5, they're going to be level 5, level 1, so on and so forth, just like that. For TMs, whatever your TMs are, whatever level, whatever quality, that's what they're going to have. We're going to skip held items for a second because that's going to be a little bit more advanced. Z crystals, whatever your Z crystals are, they're going to take that. They're not going to take any of your albums or your main character skins, your medals, which are usually very important. They don't take the medals either, and they set your trainer level to 100. Held items are special. As long as you have a 4-piece set, they are going to automatically give you the red piece set skill that corresponds to that. So the way we can do this, we can actually come look at one of my Pokemon. We're going to find one. I'm currently not optimized, so we'll find one that has a full set. So this one has a full set of Dragon Scale. You can look at their 4-piece set. Actually, this might actually be easier to do in the Dex. So you notice how Dragon Scale actually, I don't think has a 4-piece red set. Okay, it does. So this says when its HP is higher than 50%, the damage it receives will be reduced by 30%. So as long as you have 4 pieces of this equipped, it's going to have that ability. Now, if you only have 2, you're not getting anything from it. You're not getting the 2-piece set abilities, nothing. It only works if you have a 4-piece set. Likewise, later on, if you end up having the 2-piece set Sticky Barbs or Adamant Orb, I do not believe those function in there as well. It does explicitly state a 4-piece set effect. So when you go into there, throw in a 4-piece set, regardless of whether or not it's the best, throw on a 4-piece set, because it's going to give you that set effect more than that set effect is more important than necessarily the non-existent stat bonuses you're getting from these. Now, back into Real-Time Arena, there are ranks. It ranges from Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Master, King, and then Summit King. You'll get Summit King long as you're in the top 500 of the cross server. And you can get up to you can go over 1,000 points, but 1,000 points gives you the max ranking for your server. Well, the max rank rewards. And even in your server, you can go above that as well. One thing to note, losses do lose you points, while wins gain you points. There is a bonus for winning consecutively. You will increase the amount of points you get by a certain rate based on your consecutive win rate. And then, of course, if you lose, it gets reset. Now, one of the ways that they also do to balance it is if you get paired against some, say, higher powered player and you do lose, they're going to pit you against 1 or 2 bots. Usually it's 1. Early, you might go against 2. And that gives you a couple wins so that if you do lose, you're not going to be losing more points than you win. And it can be kind of like an uphill battle feeling. You might win 3 and then lose 1 and then get put against a bot and then a real person. You might win those 2, but then you'll lose again. And over the course of those wins and losses, you may have only gained 5 to 10 points. So it can feel really grindy. But as I mentioned, it is a real-time arena event. So you're only going to be fighting people that are currently actively matchmaking, with the exception of those bots. Another thing to note is they're not going to pair you as a bronze rank person against a diamond rank person or a master rank person or anything like that. The highest you should get paired up with is maybe 1 rank above you. And that is usually when you're about to hit that rank. And you may get 2 of them in a row, especially if you win. So like if I was to matchmake right now, I think I lost the last one, so I'm probably gonna get a bot. So we're gonna just check on that real quick. So I'm going against it says Annabelle, but if you'll see this, it's just 3 Pokemon all at level 80. They're weak Pokemon. This is a bot. Now I don't know why they just did this mechanic, really. Maybe it's because there was nobody actively within your range in matchmaking for you, or if they always just give you a bot and you see one, I got 14 points off that. Maybe they always just give you a bot when you lose. That's something within their code. We don't know the exact extent of like what that is. We do know that if you lose, you'll get pit against a bot. So we're going to go one more here. And you can do this as manual or auto battling. You'll see I'm going against somebody by the name of I. This is most likely a real person. It is. And you'll also see that they are a different rank than me. I forgot to hit the view gear there. So you can do this, as I said. Okay. You can do this automatically, or you can control it. For this purpose, we're going to go ahead and control it. And you'll notice my Pokemon don't have their extra energy or anything like that. They're kind of just stuck with what they had, like what their base stats and stuff are. Now, really competitive players, they are going to be manually controlling this unless they just have an exorbitantly high stat. That way they can monitor the speeds of the Pokemon that they're fighting against. They can switch out to Pokemon that are better suited for the current battle. Whatever they may decide, they're going to sit there and they're going to actively control it, especially if they're fighting another player who is equal or even higher potentially than they are. They're going to want to manually control that. And it might actually be beneficial for you to manually control it. Especially if you're using Pokemon like Palkia and Giratina. It's always useful to be manually controlling that, because AI may target Pokemon that aren't necessarily within the they might have your Palkia target something else besides the one that you're actively in parallel space with and stuff like that. I am hoping. So one way to note that my team doesn't function as well currently in real-time arena is that normally Mega Garchomp would be stealing additional energy, not just the one. So it would basically be able to do an infinite OKO. But because of the fact that I don't have that initial starting energy and my talents don't work, I don't get that ability, which is bad. It's very bad. For me, anyway. So right here, he actively used the spatial run. You actually saw he switched it out. So if auto battling, this may not automatically just use my Mewtwo to fight his Palkia. So by doing, and likewise, it might use my Groudon's Precipice Blades and try to target its Palkia, which would not be good because it won't do any damage. So if you're using Palkia, it's almost required to, and Giratina, to manually control your team. Now, before anybody asks or put it in the comments, what is the best team for real-time arena? There's really not any one specific answer for that just yet. Obviously, Palkia, Giratina, energy reducers, stuff like that, Celebi, they all do a pretty good job in real-time arena. Um, Groudon is excellent in real-time arena. Water Team is pretty good in real-time arena. Like, it's more along the lines of strategy rather than full-on stats, because as I said, they do a pretty decent job trying to balance things, even if you're a newer player playing on against some older players. And one trick I do want to mention is, just because they have you in the nothingness or in the parallel space doesn't mean that like stun moves such as like not Gyarados, Mega Snorlax's OKO, that's the group effect, it can still affect and do the stun even against Palkia when it's in a parallel space. Which is kind of weird, and I don't know if it's actually a bug. But it doesn't care if it actually does damage. It just looks to see if it hit. And the way the parallel space works is that you can attack something else, you just won't deal damage to it unless you're in parallel space with that. So I wish I could have showed that right there. That would have been perfectly timed. But this video is going to go a little bit longer just because of showing this battle, which I am going to win this battle, but here we go. So I won that, and you'll see 2 winning streak, extra plus 2 points. The higher the streak, the more points you're actually going to be getting. I don't think it's like cumulative. I don't really know how their extra point system works. You just get extra points the more your streak is increased. You can, if you want to, you can actually go back and see how you won or how you lost. You can see the record of every single battle you fought, up to, I think, a certain point. Like I got pit against Big Jim Gene, and I lost significantly because of the fact that, 1, his team was built better than mine, and 2, he didn't go in forgetting to make sure he had all of his held items as set pieces, which is one of my biggest issues right now, and one that I'm looking to correct before Real-Time Arena ends in 4 days. But again, I want to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that it is a real-time event. You are going to be paired against other players from across the game, not just your server. It may seem unfair. In fact, it will feel unfair as you get higher in rank. Once you reach that around the rank I am, this diamond to master rank, you're going to start getting paired against some of the stronger players in the game. Now, you're not going to be paired against these top 500 players who are already over 1,000 points until you get around the king level. So once you reach the top end of master, or even into master, you might start seeing some of the king level opponents start matching with you. All you got to know is, it's like I said, it's just a grind. You're going to lose some, you're going to win some. There's going to be one day you're going to come on here and you might decide to play in the, I don't know, within the first couple hours of it, and hardly anybody's going to be online. And the people that are online are just super weak, and you're going to go on a 23 win streak and break through into the king rank within 20 minutes, which is not likely, but it has happened. All you gotta know is that they're not like, this isn't some pay to win thing just because they have better Pokemon than you or access to different, like access to the divine beasts and stuff like that, doesn't mean it's impossible for you to reach king and beyond. You don't need to be shooting for number one out of the entire cross server event. Shoot for the number one server in your server. It's fine. You'll get decent rewards for being top in your server. In fact, I think those are better than the server rewards for cross server. Like if you look at the cross server rewards, I mean, you get a avatar frame for 7 days. It gives you a bonus to PvP and increase and reduction of, well, PvP damage increase and damage reduction. And these are through the entire thing here. You'll get slight stat bonuses all the way up to the top 500 of cross server. When real-time arena is over, that's only going to help you in the gym. It's going to help you in your local, in your server gym and in the world gyms. And like I said, it only lasts for 7 days. But you know what lasts longer? This elite Ditto shards that you're going to use to star up your Pokemon, who are going to then in turn consistently do more damage in your world gyms and your gym and in real-time arena in the future. So stop worrying so much about this cross server ranking and just focus on your server ranking. Your goal should be to hit this 1,000 points just so you can get these rainbow coins. This is going to let you open them for 35 rainbow diamonds each. So 350 total rainbow diamonds, and you'll be able to do a times 10 mega summon. That should be your goal. Again, it should not be to get the number one of your cross server. If you get in the top 500 of cross server, that is great. Congratulations. You got a small buff for a week, or higher buff, depending on what rank you got. The fact of the matter is, though, is that this real-time arena, no matter how unbalanced it may seem, can be accomplished. Like, you can conquer it. You just have to set your aspirations kind of to the side and just do what you can do. I know the timing of the matches may be difficult. The fact that it's only available for like 11 or 12 hours of the day is kind of annoying, especially if you're in a time zone where it just doesn't match with you. Maybe you only get 2 hours to really play in it, and that sucks. I really feel for you. But it's just something you have to deal with. I don't see them changing it to where they have matchmaking different. I think they actually had it. No, it's only available for those 12 hours, 11 hours. So even if you have to come in just for 2-3 hours a day and fight a couple battles a day, you're not going to lose points if you're not actively playing. If you're not actively matchmaking, you're not going to lose points because you're not going to be fighting. Nobody's fighting you. It's only when you're actively matching are you going to be gaining or losing points. So it's not like the regular gym where people can take your spot. They might be able to take your rank by getting more points than you. But that's within your server. Like, you should not have any complaints about not being able to just get points within your own server. Especially if you're already number one in that server. Let me see if there's any other stuff that they really wanted me to talk about. I think the main aspect was just on the stat adjustment. This is what people really wanted to focus on, this and the ranking system itself, and why you have to fight against people from other servers. I will once again state it is a game-wide event, not just server, but there is the server versus cross-server ranking. So if you're not stronger than all the people from other servers, then just shoot for number 1 on your server or top 10 of your server, whatever it may be. Just do what you can. But the most important thing is have fun. It is a game. It's not designed to be easy for you. It is a strategy game beyond anything else. And real-time arena is honestly where the competitive aspect of the game really takes form, because of the fact that they limit what you're using and balance everything else. Makes it where you really have to determine what team you should use in real-time arena. What is the best team that you can put forth to fight other players? That is the goal. That is what you strive for. Even when this game existed before, me and other mods and other players who had played for over a year, we searched far and wide and tried so many different combinations just to try to find what the best possible team was. And I have to admit, people that put a lot of money into some of the higher tier, like pay to play Pokemon, they did have a lot easier time getting that high cross server rank and their server rank. But I'm not saying it wasn't impossible for you to beat them. There were players who beat some of the higher VIP players just because they took the time to build out their team and strategize. And then sometimes these really high powered players, they're not paying attention. They're just gonna start matchmaking and go straight to auto battle, and they're just gonna walk away. They're just gonna set their phone down, walk away from the computer, whatever, and that is when you have your chance. You can knock them off their win streak and make it where they have to take more time. And that's when it's kind of fun. You can be like, hey, I beat them. But one of the other fun aspects is when you're actively communicating with players on Discord as the community, and you get matched against somebody who you know, like me and Big Jim Gene got matched. And as soon as we got matched, the first thing we did was mess each other here on Discord. We're like, hey, what do you think's gonna happen? Do you think you're gonna win? Do you think I'm gonna win? How do you think it's gonna go? And honestly, he kicked my butt. And I can sit here and say it was my fault. I definitely didn't have my held items optimized for that battle. And I can sit here and complain and fight and argue and gripe all I want about it. It's not going to change the fact that he just kicked my butt. So, in the end, again, it's just a way to a competitive aspect of the game, and it's just there to have fun. If you go in expecting that you're just gonna pound through it and win every single game, you're just waiting to get disappointed. So don't be that player. Just go in, have fun. If you're constantly winning a few and then losing some, step away for an hour. Come back. Play some more. Maybe you'll come back and win 11 games straight before you lose. You never know. But with that, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope I did answer some questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave a comment down below or reach out to me on Discord and we can answer any questions you have there as well. Thank you once again.